Greetings, Vince. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well, man. Oh, I'm gonna turn tracking on so it'll follow me around. Look at that. So how you been, good sir? Hope you're doing well. I don't know. I'm just hanging out in the garage and haven't streamed and figured I'd stream and talk about some stuff. Because fill people in on things, you know. Oh. But how have you been, good sir? Hopefully you're doing well. Picking up any more sweet deals from that auction site? I have a brand new Prusa CORE One we bought for the school, the CORE One Plus that we bought for the school that's been having some problems. So they're sending me out a new wire harness for the tool head. It's got less than 3 prints on it and it's already having problems. So they're sending me a new cable, 32 gigs DDR5 for $7. Oh, hell yeah, that's a deal in today's market, man. That is a hell of a deal in today's market. I mean, right now, normally 32 gigs of RAM will cost you at least 6 months worth of house payments. So that's a hell of a deal. But yeah, I've been having some problems with the CORE One. When it goes to start a print, it'll go to home and then the build plate will come up a little ways and stop and then drop and then come back up a little bit farther and then drop and then go back up a little farther and then drop. And it keeps doing that, coming up until it finally touches, and then it'll touch and come down, and then it'll go back up to touch again, and it'll start doing the stop drop, go up, and it keeps doing that. And I recalibrated the load cell and tried a bunch of different things, and that didn't work. So they said they think the cable might be bad to the tool head, so they're sending out a new cable. I should have that sometime first part of the week. So then I'll be tearing apart the brand new CORE One and swapping out that tool head cable. But one big thing is the GoFundMe is not going. I've got the 200 that I'm pledging myself, plus the 60 that has been pledged already. Probably going to just be using that towards filament. I did talk to the principal at Midland, the school that I'm going to, about donating these two right here, these two right there, those two. And he said, hold off on that right now. He said, get over to the school, you and the engineering teacher talk a little bit more, and then we'll see what we can do budget-wise for the school about getting them some machines, maybe budgeting that in if they can find a way. So if we get the money through the GoFundMe, that'll be great, because then I'll take that money and buy printers, and then it won't matter. That'll be less they have to budget for. And he doesn't want me bringing my personal machines to the school to help with class liabilities and stuff. I get it. So yeah, we're going to see what happens. Either I can maybe get lucky and maybe a manufacturer will want to donate a couple machines. I have reached out and asked a few of them to see if wait, hold on. Trying to make sense. Try tuning the rod to see if it is preventing smooth movement. Oh, lubing the rod. I got you. Yeah, I'll give it a try and see. But yeah, it's definitely confusing to me what's going on. I'll give that a whirl. I haven't tried putting lube and rerunning it, but I'll give that a whirl and see what happens. But what was I just talking about? See, I got sidetracked. I did that squirrel brain thing. What was I saying, Vince? Sorry, I'm tired today, guys. I have a little bit of a headache going, and I figured why not stream. But what I was gonna say is, yeah, with the GoFundMe money, whatever comes in, if I can get with a company, I have reached out to a few and asked them if maybe if they had some like open box returns that maybe they'd want to, send over, or even if they had a couple machines that needed some parts, if they, needed some repairs done, if they wanted to send them, over and then maybe send us the parts, then I could, get in with the class, or even, work on them on stream and then bring them to the school, or I could work on them maybe even as a summer project. I can work on them at the school and get them, ready to go. Be kind of a thought. Kenny, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Trying to finish the Death Racer plus the K2 Plus is not helping. Are we having issues with our K2 Plus, Kenny? But yeah, Death Racers is another thought in my head for this school. They seem like they might be a little more interested in that. My ideas of getting some Death Racer kits. Um, yeah, K2 Plus being a stubborn ass. Sorry, brother. But my hope is the engineering department might want to build a couple of Death Racers, or even see if maybe I can convince Big Tree Tech to offer us some kind of a educational discount, some kind of a discount code that we could use to purchase the kits for a little bit cheaper yet. Not that they're crazy high priced, but if we could get them at a better price, we could get more kits. We could get more kids building them, and then maybe put together a couple of teams, and then do some exhibition stuff at other sporting events and kind of draw some interest. And then maybe some other schools in the area will get on board, and then maybe we can in the evenings have like Death Racer battles. Take a couple of the different things that we do at the Rep Rap Fest, take a couple of those different types of games that are played at the Rep Rap Fest, and bring those over to the education side to play those games in in the gymnasium, or if the school has like a separate room or an area where we could do that. People could come out and watch the battles if they wanted to. Obviously, it'd be something that would have to slowly grow and build. Um, it is something that I have talked with Sam about for some time now, about wanting to get it into education and maybe start getting these schools involved and getting teams built up, and then making it a thing that at the Rep Rap Fest, um, kids are coming. Kids are coming to these events. Give me just 1 second, everybody. My youngest daughter's calling, so mute the mic. Yeah, all right, there we go. I'm back. Sorry, guys. Um, but yeah, I had talked to Sam about it, and it's something like that would be, I think, fun to get kids entertained in and get them involved in. And it's nice that there's kits available, so they're not having to source a bunch of parts. The big problem we run into is US based schools don't like to buy from non US based companies, so we're having to do that wonderful thing of trying to find someone stateside that carries them that we could buy through, um, and have them, or if, you know, I had to buy them myself and then just give them to the school, I could do that as well. That wouldn't be a problem. It's just the funding side of it. So, so I was hoping maybe we could get some kind of like an educational discount or something to that effect, you know. Maybe the fat guy with the O2 boost at Rocky Mountain. Yeah, Kenny, I wish I could go to Rocky Mountain this year, but it's not in the cards. So far, I've only been able to make it to one Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Fest out of all the years. Um, it's a bit of an expense that I can't swallow every year, and the only year I was able to go, I had Libre to help me out with that. So, um, yeah. But my hope is maybe we can get the Death Racer thing going in the schools, and then like the Rip Rap Fest could be something that we could get the schools to come to participate in, you know, come check out the event, see what's going on, you know. Last year was Moist Fest, yeah. But trying to see, you know, trying to get, you know, the kids involved in it, and then maybe we can make the Rep Rap Fest something that like the engineering robotics teams, whatever you want to call it, whatever it ends up being as it grows, whatever it ends up being a part of, maybe that'd be something that they can put in there to be like, hey, we want to go to these 3 events every year. One we could, you know, take a bus to, and, you know, just need a couple of hotel rooms or whatever. Then the other ones we'd still probably bus to those, but we'd have to get like a bigger charter bus to go, because from Illinois to Indiana is not very far. But going Illinois to Colorado and Illinois to where's 3D Printopia now these years? 3D Printopia, yeah. Chris Travis, it's good to see you, by the way. I will be at Midwest. My usual, I'll be at Midwest at least one day. I can't promise more than that right now, but we'll see what happens. Philly is the Philly this year for Earth. Thank you, Bob Carnes. Good to see you, by the way, Bob. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, guys, my hopes and plans are get into the school this year, kind of see where everything is at, and then kind of explain my ideas to the superintendent, the board, try and get some of the teachers. The engineering teacher seems like he's pretty interested in anything. The ideas that I've talked to him about, stuff I've come up with, he has been like 110% like we should be doing this stuff. And I explained to him that, you know, these are ideas that I've had and expressed in my current position, and it fell on deaf ears every time. They were not interested. There was no interest in it. So, Kit, what's going on? Red Fox Squirrel, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. But yeah, there was a lot of deaf ears that information fell on, and now it seems like there's more interest going into my the new school here in July. So, like I said, I want to get my feet in the door first and kind of get myself acclimated a little bit better, and then we'll see about the idea of reaching out a little harder to. What would be really great is I've got a lot of my friends here, and I know that there are some companies stateside that are selling the kits. West 3D, I believe, are they selling the Death Racer kits? So at least, you know, I will have that going for me, as I can find these companies that'll have the kits. Now, if we could just get some kind of a educational discount or some kind of educational pricing, or even if I could get one of those companies to want to, you know, sponsor like 2, maybe 3 kits, just so that we've got at least 2 that we can build and have a backup. That way the kids can at least kind of play and practice against one another. I mean, ideally, the more we have, the better. But if we could get somebody that could sponsor maybe 3 kits, just so we can build 2 and have, you know, like a backup or a spare unit or whatever, just so we can have 2 that they can play in battle against one another with, and then, like I said, 1 more in case something breaks. And again, I did say that I was going to, since the GoFundMe is kind of falling flat on its face, these 2 machines right here were the 2 that I was planning to give to the school. When I reached out to them and talked to them about that, they said, don't do that right now. if your GoFundMe doesn't work, let us know, and we'll get with you. And I have to get with the gentleman's name, the teacher for the engineering department at the high school. His name is Joe. So Joe and I need to sit down and talk about needs, and then we'll present that to the principal and the superintendent and see if there is maybe some funds somewhere that they can make happen to get what we need. But my hope was that we would be able to do this without having to touch the ed fund and pull money away from potentially other things. So I was kind of hoping that this would take off right here. This guy right here would take off. This guy. And we'd at least have enough to buy a machine and get them something bigger and better that we could at least print some decent parts with. Right now, realistically, the $260 that we have is pretty much right there for a Centauri Carbon. I could just get a Centauri Carbon and just, we can run Centauri Carbons. They are a decent little machine for the price, and I've got 3 of them sitting behind me, so obviously I know about the machines, how to use the machines, what to do with the machines, so it's not like there'd be a huge learning curve for myself. And since the only other machine they have is a Prusa Mini, that is their one and only printer, this wouldn't be a big issue. So that may be the route we go down. If that doesn't raise up more, I'll probably just outright buy a Centauri Carbon anyway, and just take the GoFundMe money, buy a Centauri Carbon, and just have it shipped to the school. Any machine will be better than no machine, like no machine, and a mini is a mini. So, you know. Kenny, I have been. Sergio, good to see you, man. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Kenny, I have been reaching out to manufacturers. As I was saying before you got here, I've been reaching out to manufacturers, asking them even if they had like open box units that they would want to send, or even if they had some like need repair units that had come in, if they even wanted to send just the units to us and maybe the parts, and then, you know, myself and the students in the class, because the engineering teacher has already said that like he would be more than happy to pull me in to help with projects and explaining things to the kids. So he even has said, you know, get you in the classroom with these kids, you can use your knowledge and we can all learn together. And I said, great idea. I'm down for that. I have no problem sharing my knowledge and helping people understand things. And he was like, yeah, and that's the nice part about having you here is you want to do that. And I was like, yes, I do. And sadly, in my current position, my current employer, they don't want my value. So I feel more valued going into July. You know, I feel like there's actually more that I can give, and they want to utilize that. So I feel more appreciated, and I'm not even there yet. You know what I mean? So there's that. The superintendent finally made his choice for my replacement. He just needs to get board approval. So once the board approves my replacement, hopefully Tuesday, then I can start working with that person and get them up to speed on what I do, how I do what I do, and get them access to all the things they need access to, so that hopefully the transition come June 30th to July 1st is a very smooth one, because my last day at work will be June 30th at the current school, and then I'll start Midland July 1st. So basically come home, go to sleep, get up the next morning, and instead of turning left to go to the old school, I just keep on going straight. So liquidation for Elegoo is here in Vegas Valley. Well, Kenny, if you have a way to convince them to send, you know, 3 or 4 units this way, let me know, brother. I will not argue. I mean, LTX, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We're just kind of talking about, you know, life updates, things that are going on. The fact that I had posted that I was going to donate these 2 machines right here. There we go. Those 2 machines right there. And the principal told me not to do that. I'm still looking for machines. I'm trying to avoid pulling money out of the ed fund to get printers for the kids, for the engineering class. So I'm still hoping that this right here will go up. But if not, I was saying that I can always take the $260 that has currently been raised, which is $60 from a couple donations from some of you guys, and then the $200 that I personally am putting into this. So there's the $260. I can always, if nothing else right now, buy a Centauri Carbon instead of getting my hands on a, he is the Prusa guy. Have I talked to David? He is the Prusa guy. You're talking about David, the Prusa guy, not David Randolph, who is now Cocoa Press, right? Is that the David you're talking about? Not Cocoa Press David, who is the CEO of Cocoa Press now? But like I said, if nothing else, I can buy a Centauri Carbon. I have 3 of them. I know how they work. I know they're a pretty good machine. They work well. The only failures I've had really have been on this one, and it's usually because I'm a dope and I forgot to clean the bed, so I had some print failures. Other than that, these 3 machines, when I throw a print at them, 99.9% of the time, they've just printed the part and it's come off and it looks doable. David Randolph is now the CEO of Cocoa Press. They announced it earlier this week that David has joined Ellie and the crew. Ellie has staying as the CTO, or the Chief Technical Officer. David Randolph is now the CEO of Cocoa Press. They did a public announcement the other day. So yes, David Randolph is now CEO of Cocoa Press. He is going to help grow Cocoa Press and the print kits. He is going to kind of be devoting a lot of his attention to helping to, I guess, mainline Cocoa Press printers, getting them out to the public, sourcing parts. He's going to be a man of many hats at Cocoa Press, as he was at Printed Solid. And Joseph Prusa, as many of you know, is the acting CEO of Printed Solid US until they can, my understanding is until they can find someone to either run the US side, or Joseph is just going to stay on as, the CEO. I don't know where the legalities lie in that, with it being a US based company and him being from the Czech. I don't know how that works. That's not for me to get involved in. Back up, bro. Back up. Back up. Back up. That's better. Get out of my face. But yeah, Chris Travis, he left Printed Solid in January. Yeah, David Randolph left Printed Solid in January. He was enjoying some downtime, and then I guess he was talking with Ellie, and they struck an agreement and made it public. So, yes. But Mr. Randolph is now CEO of Cocoa Press and Print Kits. I guess the Cocoa Press parent company, or Cocoa Press is the parent company, but he is going to be in charge of both Cocoa Press and Print Kits. He'll be the CEO overseeing all of that, and his job will be to help build out the print kits, get ideas for new kits going forward in the future. I know Caleb, I believe, is still there doing that as well. So I guess David and Caleb will be working closer on the print kit side to get cool ideas together for kits and get those out. And then on the Cocoa Press side, David will be working there with the whole Cocoa Press team, Ellie and the group, and getting stuff out there. He probably got bored. I don't know. I really don't know what happened there. I don't talk to Mr. or Dr. Andolph all that much. His life got pretty hectic there a few years back, where he and I have not really talked much. Every now and then, if I get a chance, I'll send a hey, how you doing to him. But I do wish him well, and I wish him the best, as well as the Cocoa Press team. I hope that this is a happy marriage and things work out very well going forward for all of them. That is always how I am, man. When good people do things, I wish them the best, and I hope that it is a path that they needed to be on. So I do wish him very well, as well as the Cocoa Press team and Print Kits. I hope it's all good across the board. You were learning the hacking stuff. You missed a lot. Yeah, you did, Chris Travis. But that's okay, man. You heard the news. You know the news. You're now caught up a little bit on what's going on that side. Um, but no, back to LTX and what you said. I have been reaching out to, like I said, manufacturers, asking them if they had like open box or like return for repair kits, printers that they'd be interested in donating, and then we could work on rebuilding them in class. Or if that's not going to be an option, I can work on them here while I'm streaming. I can talk to you guys while I'm rebuilding the machines, getting them up and running, and then bringing them to the school. I mean, it doesn't matter to me how we would get them. I just would like to get them so I don't have to pull money out of the ed fund for this stuff if we don't have to. It would be a nice thing if we could kind of circumvent doing that. Holy crap, Sergio, brother. Dude, okay, guys. Sergio, I'm going to tell everybody because you didn't say don't tell everybody. Sergio just made a donation, and I know it's going to this. So we're at $360. I'll have to go in and add in another $100 to this. So Sergio, brother, thank you very much for that. We are definitely at least buying a Centauri carbon and some filament now. So $360 is more than enough to buy a Centauri carbon and some filament. So we will be getting the school at least one Centauri carbon. I was going to donate two, but got told not to do that. But if I'm buying it, it's brand new in box, and we're giving it to the school, they can't tell me no. So we're doing that. Not today, but we are doing that because I have to wait for the money to come out from GoFundMe, which it's set to pay out once a month, and this ain't the month, or this ain't the time yet. It hasn't come out yet. It comes out April. So in April, when the money comes out, I'll be making the purchase, and then I will be posting an update on the GoFundMe. So if anybody wants to use the GoFundMe link, it's right here. If you want to use PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, those links are down below. If you send my money through PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever comes to me minus fees, I'll take that amount and put that towards the total here. So, but thank you, Mr. Sergio, for that. We are definitely going to be able to at least get a Centauri carbon. Ideally, I wanted to get some Prusa CORE Ones, stick with the Prusa ecosystem, but based on how many more machines I can get the other way, we're probably going to lean towards that. Not saying we will. We'll see what happens. I need your rolling printer for a guitar. Oh, the belt printer, smelly ass feet. I don't have the belt printer anymore. The belt printer has been long since gone, man. Yeah, sorry. I have a small baby belt printer that I promised to somebody in the community that I got to get to them. But yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. It's been gone for some time. As a matter of fact, it's currently about 2 towns over from me in some guy's shop. He asked me to help him get it set up, and then I never heard back from him as to when he wanted to. He was going on some vacation, and then he came back, and he's been working. I haven't heard. So I guess at some point I'll have to kind of touch base with him and say, hey, when it's been a while now, when do you want to get together and work on these printers, and see what he says. But yeah, the belt printers they're nice machines, but they're a different animal. They really are. So yeah, there's definitely, a bit of a different animal there when it comes to the belt printers. Digital Dragon, good to see you, Luke. How you doing? Hey, Luke, by the way, just so you know, I was talking about something, and you might be able to help me out with this. Since you have a storefront as well, I think West 3D is one of the companies that's selling the Death Racer kits. Are you looking to add those to your storefront? Just out of curiosity, because with the school, they don't like to spend their money outside of the US. And if you have these US side and could sell to me online, we could definitely, when the time comes and I convince them that we need to buy a few, or if the community wants to get behind it and they want to send money here, we can just keep this thing going, and we can buy some printers and filament and whatnot. I know as a business that's growing and starting, you don't have a lot of overhead, like a lot of room in your overhead. And I'm not going to ask you to put your business in jeopardy because you're just starting out. That would be silly to not allow you to build and establish yourself before somebody tries to come in and look for handouts. Not doing that. Just wondering if you're looking to maybe add Death Racer kits to the shelf that people could buy, and then maybe idiots like me could place an order with you. Most schools do a 30-day, like we do we buy on PO, which basically means we'd have to mail you a check kind of a thing, but I have to get my foot in the door over there and find out what kind of purchasing power I have and like what kind of access I have to funds and how I would be able to get things paid. These are all things I got to work out. I don't know how this school is going to operate that versus the current school I'm in. But once I know, I'll get in touch with you once I know how the process will go. But again, Digital Dragon, brother, good to see you. Glad you're here. Guys, don't forget, Digital Dragon 3D, he's down in North Carolina. If you're in the area, go see him, visit him, say hi. Clayton, good to see you. Aloha, brother. I said hola. Aloha, brother. Hope you're doing well. Yes, please smash the like button, everybody. Helps me out. A quick little Cliff Notes version on everything for those who don't know. Hi, I'm Dan. This is my channel. Usually we talk about life and 3D printing and where I'm currently at and where I'm going and what I'm doing. And occasionally we'll print stuff on printers. You see that I have several of them. There are 7 active printers in the garage currently. I am going to be working on building out the LDO Rook 2020 kit. It is currently over here. I just got to go back through things. It's been over a year. The parts have been sitting. I got to go through and see what I have, what I need to print, and then we'll work on assembly of the little LDO Rook 2020. And then I'll probably take one of the 2020s to work with me and have it as my office printer when I start the new school, as well as I might steal one of my Centauri Carbons and take that to work and put it in my office. I have 3 of them up there now, so yeah. You've been holding off on bringing in Big Tree Tech or BQ and Big Tree Tech items. Gauge Cat, I don't blame you, dude. Like I said, just when the time comes for me, if you have them as an option, obviously I'll reach out to you. My biggest thing is with companies like Big Tree Tech, I would hope that they would have something with their US suppliers where they could set up some kind of like an educational discount or an EDU SKU where we can purchase things at maybe a little bit lower of a price, because a lot of you are going to hear me repeat something I just said earlier, and I have said for many years now, or for at least 2 years now, where I would really like to start Death Racers in high school, at least the high school age kids, having them printing the parts, building out the machines, and then flashing everything, getting it set up, ready to go. And then as like intermissions in between games and stuff, maybe bring them out on the court, let the families watch the robots battle. I said ideally it would be nice to have 3 kits to start. We can have 2 main units that'll be set up that the team, they can set up their own teams within the school, and then like the 2 teams can battle, and then have like a backup unit in case one goes down, catastrophically goes down. We have a backup unit available for them to be able to kind of roll back over to, or during practices, things like that. Or if we wanted to do like a, staff versus students thing, where you have like the 2 kids versus a staff member, do a battle to the death kind of a thing, like, hey, let's do Death Racer battle for homework this weekend kind of a thing. Do something silly, if they're having like student of the month, then they can have like this teacher says that they're willing to, battle the 2 teams to see if there's going to be homework this weekend or not in a class or something. You know what I mean? Just haha funny, just ways to kind of draw, interest in the Death Racers, maybe get more kids involved in whatever class that would fall under, and be able to maybe grow that to other schools, and have other schools coming to our school, or us traveling to other schools to have Death Racer battles, like an hour a night. You have a couple of different matches set up, different like we do at Rocky Mountain or at the Rep Rap Fest in general. There would be different heats based on different things. So you'd have like the Battle Royal, last man standing kind of a thing. You could do like a like this team versus that team battle for who can get the garbage can across the line first, or kind of that kind of falls in the Rocket League realm, you know, where it's almost like Rocket League, where instead of having, we could even do like a ball instead and have where there's the two different sides and you have a ball in the middle and everybody's got to work together on one side or the other to get the ball across the line. So there you go, see? But stuff like that, you know. So we could have a couple of different heats, matches, whatever. Teams could have a couple of bots that they bring, and we do this, and it could be like an hour a night, just something to do for these guys to have. And maybe to start, it doesn't, you know, it's not going to be like a sanctioned event by any organization, but at least it would be a start, and more schools would hear about it, more schools would be interested in it, and more schools, and would grow through education. And then Death Racers could potentially one day be much bigger than it is. However, no other person in schools is trying to push these things into the schools like I am. And sadly, the school that I'm at currently, it was met with a brick wall. The school I'm going to, the engineering teacher is way more receptive to my ideas. He likes what I've been saying. And this is something that I think if I could just get the kits, and even if I build the robots myself, print the parts, build the robots myself, and then bring them in and show them to the engineering class, and I can get this teacher behind me, and I already know the principal at the high school. He loved the idea when I presented to him way back when he was the assistant principal at the school I'm at now. So like I knew he loved the idea even back then. So I know that I've got people on board this time, and in talking with, you know, the staff at the new school at Midland, and talking with the staff there, they're very interested in a lot of these crazy ideas, and they want to do new and interesting things, you know. Thought about getting the adding to STEM, or however that works. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Kenny. Like I said, if I can at least get if I can get kits, that's where my big thing is. If I can get kits, I'm looking for, if anybody, let's put it this way, I will put the ask out there right now. There's not that many of you guys watching, but to those of you who are watching, if you would like to help me make this happen, if you are willing to go buy a Death Racer kit and send it to the school, so that this way it's at the school and you know it's not something coming to me and I'm going to do anything nefarious with it, but you know it's going to the school. Message me somehow. You all know how to find me on Discord, X, Facebook, whatever. You all know how to find me. Or just send an email to Dan@MakerMindNexus. I will give you the address for the school, and you just send it to the school. Attention, you know, Dan Borio at Midland School. You send it, attention me, to the school, and then I will let the high school principal know that I have some packages coming already. These are for a potential project that I would like to bring to the school. These are being donated by community members, so that he knows that, one, they're donations made by the community, two, it is the project idea that he and I have talked about, and three, not this coming week, but the following week, I will be going to Midland School for at least a day. I'm going to take an entire like 8-hour day, and I'm going to go there on my own, of my own volition, and I'm going to have talks with everyone all day. I'm just going to be there to finish off some paperwork at the district office and kind of walk around there in the morning and talk with staff there. And then as the day goes on, I'm going to go over to the high school building at the end of the day and talk with the high school staff a bit more. Probably spend more time at the high school level, because that's where I'm going to be bringing most of these ideas to start. Bring them in at the high school level, and then we can work on bringing them down to the junior high level. And then I don't know that in the elementary level we'll bring any of the 3D printing and robotics and stuff down to elementary level, but at least start in the high school, get a couple machines together, and then go over and work with the junior high has a small robotics team. They do like little stuff, so it'd be cool to work with them on maybe some of the stuff that like Joel's been helping with those the little robot kits. Help me out, guys. What's the name of those kits that Joel makes for, he prints the parts for? What are those? Anyway, my thought is maybe then when we cross that bridge, I could talk to Joel about getting some of those or work with that company to get a couple of those in for the junior high robotics team or robotics classes to be able to print and build those out. So they can start small there in junior high with those little kits and then move into like bigger deathbots. Then later in R2D2 builds. Hey, you never know, Kenny. It could come to that where at the start of because we know these things take time. It might be one of those things where like a freshman class coming in, taking an engineering class, they start printing parts through their freshman and sophomore years, doing, printing, prepping, painting. And then as they get into their junior and senior years of that, they're actually doing the wiring, the electronics, the coding, programming, and all that. And by their senior year, they have an R2 that graduates with them because it started life in freshman year with them, and that'd be cool as hell that, their senior year, they've built a fully functioning R2 that comes to graduation with them. You know what I mean? That would be cool. That's the crazy that's in my brain, and that's the stuff that they're actually interested in is like the weird thoughts I have like that. So how cool would that be that you take an engineering class your freshman year and you start your freshman year is more or less like the grunt year where you're printing the parts and you're getting them prepped and ready. And then in your sophomore year, you're starting to build out the robot, assembling the parts, getting it ready to go. Your junior year is going to be the wiring up of everything, getting all the parts wired together and get it ready to go. And then you spend your senior year programming and programming it and getting it more refined and ready so that by graduation you bring your R2 to the that year's class of R2 gets to come be at graduation with. I think that'd be pretty badass. You'd take a K9 over an R2 any day. Hey, but that's what I'm saying. Like these kids could be working on these projects all that time. It's just a matter of having the machines and the material to print the parts and then being able to find the things they need to finish building them out, And I'm pretty sure that there are several people in this community that would love to get behind these projects and would be willing to either give or donate their files to help the students do that. Obviously, the school will take anything they can get. So, but yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested in helping me with the Death Racer side, something I've been wanting to do for years, like I said, message me, email me, whatever. Let me know. I'll tell you if you want to purchase a kit, send it to the school. Just know the more kits we get, the more robots we'll end up building. So it's not like if we get like 10 of them that we're going to waste 10 of them. No, we'll build 10 of them. At some point, we'll have 10 to build, whether we build 3 to start, and then as it takes off, we have more kits to build out more as the year or years go on. It'll be greatly appreciated, and we'll do that. And as long as you have some way to get a little note in there saying that you sent the kit, we'll make sure that in some way, shape, or form that as these are getting put together, we'll get like some photos when it's done and get that to you so you can see that your donations are being put to good use. I'm hoping that we'll be able to kind of take over the school's Facebook page and maybe some other social media stuff when we do these things, and they'll be posted out there. Maybe even little local newspaper blurbs about it saying that, these things were donated by folks such as, and then get your name in some local print down around here if you want that. As a, yeah, it is. The big hurdle is, but the thing is nobody else is doing it right now, so nobody else knows how to do it. So somebody has to be the first one. Somebody's got to lay the groundwork so that all the other schools know how to do it. And I mean, I'm game to take on this headache. I really am, because this is something I'm passionate about. It's something it's helping kids be creative, and it gives them a sense of reward because they get to see their hard work put to use. You know what I mean? Grandkids arrived. All right, Sergio, again, thank you very much for that $100, good sir. Like I said, Ideally, if this number keeps growing, when funds come in, we'll be looking at trying to get some Prusas. But if it does not, at least the Centauri carbons are a printer I know, and I know it's reliable enough. I will be, probably purchasing a Centauri carbon first of next month, sometime in the first week of next month. Purchase a Centauri carbon and get that sent to the school so that it'll be there waiting, and they can be like, "What the heck is this?" And I can say, "I have friends." And my friends are very passionate about this. So they made sure it was taken care of. So, oh, here comes my kid. Hold on a second, guys. Let me mute you for a second. All right, gang. Sorry about that. My daughter just wanted to show me she got some vinyls that her dad had been holding for her, and she got those back. So she wanted to show me her vinyls. But might bring all your hacky learning toys to Murph. I think you should. I think you should. All I've got is just my Meshtastic stuff. That's all I really gotten into. At some point, I'd like to finish out the. It's back here behind this screen. Is my LabRex. I'd like to get that kind of built out and get there's 3 Pi 5s and I think it's only a 4 gig in there. Because I think this is the 8 gig. So there's a 4 gig Orange Pi in there. I'd like to get them all set up with some different stuff on them. And then, I have that to kind of like bring around and do stuff with. But yeah, I think you should, good sir. I will be at Murph this year for at least one day. You have a couple of Meshtastic nodes. Nice. I'll have to bring mine to Murph this year. I'll have to bring at least one with, maybe 2, leave one either in the car, or if I'm going to stay overnight, I can leave one in the hotel room just to see what it picks up while I'm gone, But then have one to wander around the event with, just to see what's out there, I was looking into MeshCore as well, and since I have two of the exact same V4s, I haven't played around with them in a while. I'm terrible, I know. I do, however, have a what is it? I have a Rockland. I believe it. Yeah, I have a Rockland affiliate link that should be linked in my link tree if anybody wants to get into doing some LoRa and stuff like that. Feel free to use my affiliate link. They prefer that you use my affiliate link because they want to be able to track that I'm selling stuff, or at least that I'm talking about them. So if you guys want to get into Meshtastic or MeshCore and you want to play with LoRa devices, consider checking out the link that's linked down in my link tree. Now that I've said that a bunch of times, let me go to my Linktree dashboard. And let me scroll down here and find my Rockland. There we go. No, I didn't want to actually edit it. I just want to copy it. It's actually real easy. If you just go to store.rockland.com/?ref=MMN. . 'Ref=MMN. 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 'Ref= There you go. That's the link. So if you want to get into like Meshtastic, you can get in it for as little as like $35. Get one, flash it, and just let it run and leave it sit on the table at home. Plug it into some USB-C power, plug it in, just leave it sit in a window at home, and when you come home, grab your phone, load up the Meshtastic software, and do your thing. Michael Cassell, good to see you, brother. Hope you are feeling well. I know things have been a little tough for you, so I'm hoping you are feeling well, good sir. Um, but yeah, so you got one of those M5 stack card pewter with the LoRa hat. Nice. Has its own firmware called Launcher. Okay. It'll launch other firmwares to be used. Most are pen testing, but there is one for Meshtastic. Sweet. Doing pretty good. Got good numbers back on your Echo. Nice, brother. Nice. I'm glad things are looking up for the ticker. I'm glad things are looking up for the ticker, man. You're too damn young for the drama you're going through. So, you know, I'm glad to hear things are better now, you know. Wow, have I really been streaming for about an hour already? Wow, time kind of flew today. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Like, who's streaming tonight, guys? Is there anybody that's streaming tonight or streaming even like now? Not that I'm looking to end the stream, but I'm just curious if anybody is. However, back to kind of the other stuff that I was talking about. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, kind of back to the death race, or even like 3D printing related stuff, like if you have like filament or you want to send filament to the new school, reach out to me. Or actually, if you go look at the GoFundMe, I put the address for the school in the bottom of the GoFundMe description. So if you have stuff you just want to send directly to the school, like filament, stuff like that, preferably filaments and things. If you have, if you want to buy a printer yourself and send it directly to the school, feel free. There's, again, the link is in, or the link to the GoFundMe. You can scan this right here. And then look in the bottom of the description. I put the address for the school in there. You can just send it to attention Dan Borio at Midland School, and then the address. Send it there, attention me, and then that way they'll know to contact me and let me know that you guys have you guys have sent some new goodies. I personally kind of prefer that, because then you know that what you're sending is going to where you're sending it, and they know that it's coming there and it's getting ready for me to come in and take over, and we're gonna make stuff happen. So crushing it in PT did well. You got 2,600 steps in 14 minutes. Nice. Kind of like a cumbersome stair stepper. Yeah, I know which machine you're talking about. And yeah, you're just standing there constantly. You got 2,600 steps in 14 minutes, dude, and ticker still was going. Nice. Well, I'm glad you are on the up and up, man. I know it's been a long road, so I'm glad you're on the up and up, man. But I will say that back to an earlier announcement, that the school that I currently work at, they finally have made a choice for my replacement. But again, it is pending board approval, which is on Tuesdays, or is the third Tuesday of every month. So that'll be Tuesday of this coming week. They will make that final decision. And as long as the board approves it, come Wednesday, I will be sending out an email to all of the staff, letting them know to now route all of that information to this individual, and let that individual now field and filter all of that stuff as I prep them to step up into my position. So that is the plan for this coming week. Is board approves them, fingers crossed. I send out an email on Wednesday telling everyone, due to last night's board meeting, this is how it will be handled going forward. And then I will work with him through June 30th I will be working with him to get him as up to speed as I can and get him as many answers as I can to the questions he'll have, so that on July 1st, when I wake up and go to my new job, I will be able to focus wholeheartedly 110% on the new place and make sure that they have everything that they need and continue to build off of what their uh, current tech director has done, build off of that and continue to grow other things. Um, Another cool thing that this is another reason why I'm excited about this transition over, for anybody who hasn't heard me talk about it yet. This transition over is really great because I did find some things out that my current employer never told me about. And one of those things is, as long as I hold a bachelor's, which I am going to also either start working into this year, or it will at least start in summer of next year, I will start working towards acquiring the bachelor's degree and getting that knocked out. Once I hold a bachelor's degree in the state of Illinois, and I don't know other states, but in the state of Illinois, as long as I hold a bachelor's degree, based on my work experience, I can petition to the ROE, or the Regional Office of Education for my area. I can petition to them to get what's called a CTE, or a Certified Teaching Endorsement. It's a 5-year teaching license without going through the steps of becoming a teacher. Based on work experience, and holding the bachelor's degree would qualify me for a CTE in whatever their ROE decides would be what they want to endorse me in. Now, being as I'm more in tech and additive manufacturing and other things, it very well could be where they can look through the I call it the playbook, basically the school boards or the state's guidelines for classes, like what classes are to be offered. They can go through that and then find classes and see if anybody would be interested. They can make a offer to the kids that if this class was available, would you want to take it and see, and then set me up for maybe teaching a couple of classes a day, as well as doing the teaching or the IT thing, because you know the current tech guy is doing it, so I could do it too. And he's getting ready to retire in about 2 years. So if I can knock out what I have left to do to get my bachelor's, if I can knock that out in the next 2 years, then I could either even take over his classes, what he's been doing, and just continue to be him for the next 10, 15 years. Or if it ever gets to that point where, I've kind of exhausted myself as the old man in IT, and now just want to step into more of just the stay in the classroom and do the teaching thing, I could do that. And I could actually make that transition over from just being the guy who fixes stuff to being the guy who teaches people how to do these things. I think that'd be kind of cool. It was never something that was on the radar for me when I was younger. I hated school. I never wanted to work in a school. I never wanted to be a part of a school. I never wanted to teach people. But as I got older and I changed as a person and I grew as a person, I see, especially after having been working directly for a school for the past decade, I do see where there are rewards that I didn't realize when I was younger. So you managed to break the thing that you helped me fix. You broke that? Wait, what are we talking about? The break the thing that you managed? Like, are you talking about the printer already? You broke it again? I gave that's my neighbor, by the way, guys. King Chandler, that's my neighbor. I gave him a 3D printer, and then he broke it, and then I fixed it. And then I think he broke it again. And now my dog's out there throwing a fit. I know he can hear him, so the it came apart again. Is that what you're saying? If it came apart again, that's not a big issue. It's just I'll try to find my soldering iron and solder, and we'll actually put some actual solder on it to solder that joint back together so that it doesn't come apart. So we can work on that. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we'll take care of that. No, right now I've just been talking about like a lot of things, man. My transitioning from one school to another, the looking for help from the community to help bring things to the new school if they can, whether it be death racer kits so that we can build some death racers and start doing that in the engineering classes and other things, and maybe start that as a thing for, some of the more techie kids to have as a nightly event at the school type of thing where they can, for like an hour after school, we have like a death racer battle. And if you don't know what death racers are, it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots meets, RC tanks. So they basically would 3D print and build out a RC tank that has a robot head on it that needs to be knocked off with a budger, or like, yeah, this big budger on there that you swing to knock the head off to disable the robot. And then the last man standing wins in one set of the races. The last man standing wins, and then there's other different like games that we can set up and play, like almost do like a Rocket League, where you could have a ball in the middle and the two teams have to work together to get the ball across into a goal. And then with that, you could do you could also mix in the disabling a robot, and when you get down to like one guy on a team versus like five guys on a team, see if the David and Goliath type thing, David and Goliath type scenario plays out, and like the one man standing like takes out the whole team and scores the point. So there's all kinds of like crazy ideas, but it's getting the equipment, the 3D printers to print the parts, getting the kits to build the death racers, and then once we've got those things, it's getting the staff member on board. But this staff member, the engineering teacher at Midland, is very interested in a lot of my crazy ideas. The principal at the high school, he is definitely a guy who is on board with a lot of my crazy ideas. I worked with him before at the current school I'm at. He was there and then left to go over there. And the superintendent is always looking for like new ways, new ideas, new things to kind of help draw attention to the school in a positive light. Like all schools, they want positive light, and building up a death racers team. And it's a nice edgy thing to put in the paper, Midland School starts death racers, and they're like, what's this? And it gets, it catches attention, stuff like that. So I'm kind of hoping that, these things will kind of grow and these ideas will take off. So obviously community support is always the easiest way to do it, because if we can bring the stuff in for free, build it and do it, and it doesn't cost the school any money to at least start this and just get the interest, there you go. So like I said, if anybody is interested in helping with any of my crazy ideas, you can scan the little QR code right here. It'll take you to the GoFundMe for all of this, and then there's an address for the school. Feel free to devil worship. Yep. That's, I'm sure some people will read that and see it that way until they actually read the article. But yeah, I mean, I know that the small little paper over there, they put me in print. They hired me, and I was an article. I was a front page article when they hired me to bring me into the school. So I'm pretty sure these ideas can definitely make front page for the little local paper. And when the little local paper puts it out there, then bigger, news outlets might be interested as well. So who knows? It could be something that kind of grows, gets more attention, and we get other schools reaching out to us wanting to know what they need to do to help partake and how they would like to, get it started. Again, because it's not something that's being done in education, someone somewhere has to start this to get the basic plan out there. Like, this is how you teach it in class, this is how you build it out in class, and then this is how you start running it with your public, with your general public, to get interest. And then we set up little events where, Midland versus, and then either your school gets a bus, comes here with your stuff, and we have a battle, or we come to you and we have a battle during one of your events, and we do like these little things. Like when the basketball teams play, maybe during the halftime, the engineering and robotics teams can come out and bring their death racers and do like a 10-minute little battle in the middle of the court, and then they can get the floor swept real quick and then back into the game. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. So it'd be a way for, like, when one team travels, you bring the other team with, if that school has a death racers team, or like a battle bots, or whatever they want to call it, that, however they want to handle it. I mean, currently they're death racers. If they want to say death racers at halftime, you know what I mean? You can bring that edge. So maybe the robotics team can travel with, and then during the halftime is our like big game type thing, and come out, the two teams battle, and in the end it's just both coaches keep score and we keep track of our wins versus losses. And then maybe if at the end of the year some of the other 3D printing companies wanted to like send little rewards or gifts to the schools for partaking in the event, and helping grow it through education, that would be kind of cool too. Not going to expect anything from that, but I think companies like Polymaker and maybe Protopasta, since they're both getting in on the filament side, maybe they would just say, hey, since your school had, you had the most wins in your region for death battles for the year, here's $500 for more material, and then you came in second, so here's $250, and you guys came in third, so here's $100. You know what I mean? Something like that. They do it during the big events, or the big Rep Fest and stuff. So maybe it could be something that we could reach out to them about once we've got the groundwork laid. But it's just getting the equipment so we can get the kids interested, so we can get the groundwork started and make this happen. This is something that, like I said, a lot of you guys know I've been passionate about for a while, is getting death racers into schools, at least at the high school level. The current school I'm in, I was trying to get at least 3 kits, one for me to build out and show them and have as like a spare backup, and then one for the junior high and one for the high school, because the school is all under one roof there. So junior high school is all under one roof. That's got to stop that. But junior high school, and elementary are all under one roof in my current employer. But at the school I'm going to, or the district I'm going to, I'll be overseeing 3 separate buildings. So I'll have a high school, junior high, and an elementary building. So I'll be overseeing 3 separate buildings. It'll be a little harder for me to be involved with the junior high, at least out the gate. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can get the high school started, get some interest around get some interest in it around the high school side. And then, like I said, I don't remember, I didn't see it pop up in chat. I might have missed it. I don't remember the little robotics company that Joel, his farm has been printing parts for. I can't remember that robotics company now, but like I said, the thought would be to maybe get some of those little units for both high school and junior high at Midland for them to have to build out. I know they have a junior high robotics class, so maybe we can get them a couple of 3D printers, or even get just full kits already printed by 3D Printing Nerd himself. Maybe he'll want to come hang out in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and like drop off some packages and talk to the kids about them even. Who knows? I don't know. Joel's a very busy guy with a lot going on. I know currently he's not in the States. He's overseas for Smurf. But, down the road, when the time comes, maybe that's something I talk to him about, reach out to him, and maybe he can come out, make some content on it, and it helps him and it helps us, and helps kind of draw attention to getting those into more classrooms. And who knows, maybe with the death racer side of it, becomes like a double for him. He can come to the one school and do that. And if we've got some death racers built up at the time, maybe he can come over and talk to the engineering class about their death racers and everything they do. So he could maybe get like 2 episodes out of one trip. That'd be pretty cool for him. But, these are all just Dan talking to the camera and you guys about ideas that are in his head. Hey, Ron, what is going on, brother? How the hell have you been? Hope you are doing well. Oh, Aaron, you just missed the long chat about ideas that just spewed out of my brain. But I do have a GoFundMe going, so feel free if you can. If not, just hit the share button on it, send it out to your friends and family, and let them know that I am trying to do something great for the new school that I am joining in July. If you've missed it, yes, Aaron, we do need to catch up. However, if you did miss it, June 30th will be my last day at the current school that I have been employed with for a decade now. And starting July 1st, I will be starting at, obviously, Midland is the name of the school. I will be starting at Midland as their tech director. Again, they are, I'm going from one district under one roof, pre-K through 12, to one district under three roofs. So I will be, having to travel between some different buildings as problems arise. But it's not something I can't do. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for 10 years. I got this job. It's not a problem. I can do the work. Traveling between buildings, not so bad. You're making up some pancakes, bacon, eggs, and hash browns. Oh, gee, neighbor, no, not food. Oh, food is evil. No. When you finish it, just wait for me to finish streaming, and then I can come grab it from you if you do put some off to the side. But yeah, I'll come grab it from you when I'm done streaming, or when the stream ends, if you're still watching. When the stream ends, then come on over. I'm really trying not to eat on stream right now. What'd you say, Kenny? Just do not get them going down the rabbit hole of building borons. Oh yeah, no, I honestly, Kenny, I do think that maybe at some point we get them a kit 3D printer for the class to build, just so they can better understand the basics of the machine. Because when you get them an out of the box unit, plug it in, turn it on, and go, they don't really understand. They may not necessarily understand the how the machine works. So who knows, down the road, maybe I do reach out to LDO and say, hey, do you guys have a a kit that you'd be willing to send to my engineering class for them to print, build, and assemble and set up and get running? And if they do at the time, when we get to when we cross that bridge, if they do, great, not a problem. But if they don't, I understand. But I do think it would be kind of beneficial, maybe not in the first year, but maybe a couple years in, when I've got my bearings on everything and I've built a better rapport with staff and students. That can be something we look at adding in. Maybe my second, third year in, we look at adding that in, and then maybe we build something like a switch wire or a Trident or a 2.4 or some of the new kits that are coming out, I mean, ideally, what would be great is if the school district had just boatloads of money and we could just buy enough kits for each one of the kids that are taking like their senior year, like engineering 4 class or whatever it is, where they could, at the start of the year, the goal is you print the parts, build the printer, get it set up and running, and then by the end of the year, you have a fully functioning running printer. And congratulations, you passed the class, take your printer home with you. That would be, chef's kiss. That'd be a beautiful thing. Probably not going to happen. That's not where, it's too small of a district. There's not enough money in the budget to buy, like if we did a bunch of positron kits, for instance, or like the V0s, smaller kits, a little cheaper, a little bit easier to purchase. Still not in the budget for like $500 to give the kids, to give to each one of the kids, to have them take it and it leave with them, because that would be money that would be a loss every year. And when you're talking, if you have 6 kids even taking the class, small district, guys, keep that in mind. If you had 6 seniors taking the class, that's still, 6 times 600, that's still $3,600 that's been taken out of the budget that won't be there for next year. So, yeah. Oh, hang tight, guys. Wifey's calling. All right, sorry, gang. She was calling me to let me know that she sent me a bunch of videos of my little grandson. Because I didn't notice the alert pop up on my phone and I don't have the browser up, so I didn't see them. But yeah, I was talking to her and looking at videos of my little grandson. He's a little ham. He doesn't like Pappy. He's not a fan of Pappy right now, so I keep telling her we need more time with him. So hopefully as things change, I'll get more time with the little grandson. But yeah, you must build additional Vorons. Yes, I know. I currently have a Voron in the mix, and then there's a frame on the floor for what I believe was supposed to be a 2.4 that was sent to me that I was going to use to make a backpack frame out of, that I could put actual acrylic in or something and enclose an actual printer to wear on my back. But then times have changed, and I'm realizing carrying something that big with a printer in it around on my back would be very painful over time. So maybe I'll build that out. It's a nice blue frame. I think it was a 2.4. I have the frame parts for it. Now it would just be a matter of printing parts, getting the electronics, the motors, the electronics and everything, and then building it out. So maybe one day. If not, there's a blue 2.4, I believe, frame sitting there on the floor that maybe one of you guys can pick up from me at an upcoming event or something. I'll bring it and be like, tell LDO thank you. But I'm going to have to check and see what I have to bring with me, because at least Murph I am coming to. And if there are people I know that I have made promises of stuff to over the years, I would like to be able to bring that stuff to Murph for you. I am not going to be bringing any of my own printers to Murph. I am not going to have a table at Murph. When I come to Murph, I'm going to be hanging out with people, talking to people, and maybe helping spread the ideas for my craziness to see if I can get more people on board with the ideas for the school. Maybe I should talk to the school and see if I can get a banner and a table and then talk to them about who I am, what I do, why this is important to me, and it should be important to you, and why if you want to help, here will be a link that you can, here's a QR code you can scan to send monies that way. If you want to buy things, here will be the address on where you can buy and send things directly. If you would like to set like do gift cards and stuff, this will be my at that school email address that you can then send the gift cards to, and then we can buy stuff and use the gift cards to get that into the classroom. So that is my hope, is that maybe, just maybe, someone from Big Tree Tech will see this and say, hey, Dan, where do you want us to send like 4 or 5 of the Death Racer kits? Polymaker maybe will be watching this and they'll hear it and they'll be like, hey, Dan, we want to send you, like, you know, a gift card for X amount of dollars, like $2,000 or whatever, you know, whatever's an option, just, you know, so that you can buy materials for the projects going forward, or and any companies, as a matter of fact. Maybe Elegoo is listening and they want to send me a bunch of these open box that just need to be taken out, cleaned up. Maybe it's open box, so it's missing toolkits or whatever. Not a big deal. We can get tools. Tools are not a problem. But maybe they want to send me a bunch of open box kits of these that just need to be taken out, dusted off, and then run through again with a calibration and setup. Take them, set them up. Maybe Joseph Prusa is watching and is like, you know what? Dan's an asshole. He's always been an asshole. He's always going to be an asshole, but he is a good guy. So let's get him some printers. Maybe. I doubt it. I doubt any of that will ever come to fruition that way. But if I talk about it and people can see that I am passionate about it and they know that my heart's in the right place, maybe they'll want to help me be able to help these kids going forward. Because I will tell you that in the 10 years that I've been doing what I've been doing, I've seen kids that had no idea which path they were going down spend day after day talking to me, hanging out with me just in the hallways or coming into my office and just talking to me, that ended up deciding they wanted to go into tech and are now in college or out of college and working in the tech industry in one way, shape, or form. They may still be at the bottom working their way up, but they had no idea where life was going to take them after school. And because of interactions with me, they're involved in tech in some way. And that's cool to know that I had that kind of an impact on these kids. But these kids don't realize the impact that they had on me, because when I started in, I figured maybe I'd be in for, you know, a year or two, build up a little bit of experience, because I started as the assistant, which was a part-time, like minimum wage job that, I was getting 20 to 29 hours a week, and I was making pretty much almost minimum wage when I started out. That lasted 6 months, and then the guy that was in the position took another job, and they asked me if I was interested, and I said, yeah, I got 6 months in the job. I've got a pretty good understanding, and what I don't know, I'll learn on the way. And they were like, perfect. So they gave me the position, and I did have to apply and go through the process with everyone else. And they chose to keep me in-house and move me up into the tech director's position within 6 months of hiring me as the assistant. And I went from not even 6 months. I take that back, because it was September when I started. So September, so you got October, November, December. January is when I basically took the position as the tech director, was January. And then it became official in February through the board. So I was the acting tech director through January, and in February is when the board made it official. So yeah. But the kids don't realize the impact they had on me, because when I started in like that, originally I was like, I'll get in, I'll get some experience, something comes up closer to home, and I'll take that. Or maybe, at least if nothing else, I pad the resume with some experience in education, and then another business down the road will find that intriguing and want to pull me in. By year two, I started to feel like I was part of the family, like I belonged there, like people wanted me there. By year three, I said pretty much I'm staying in education, even if I do end up going to another school. I'm going to stay probably in education and retire out from education in some way, whether down the road I work towards becoming a teacher, or if I just stayed in the IT sector of it and did the IT stuff. And it was because of the relationships I built up, not just with the staff members, but with the students, like these kids, seeing these kids, talking to these kids, learning from these kids. Because I didn't know what 6-7 was, and now I do. I mean, you learn the stupid stuff, but just seeing the impact that I've had over the last 10 years on these kids, it's going to be hard to leave there. It really is, because there are a lot of great kids in that school. There's a lot of great staff there, and a lot of people who did ride as many of my crazy ideas as we could get pushed through, that supported those ideas and rode out with me on those ideas. They've all been huge hits and successes and everything. So my ideas are not squandered when they're accepted. So that's good to know. So I'm hoping that same interest will be there, plus going into this new school. Like I said, I've already got, as far as I know, I've already got at least 3 to 4 people in that building that I have talked to about some ideas, some things, some stuff I'd like to bring to the table going into the future. And none of which was met with oh no, we'll have to see. It was all like, those are great ideas, we love that, that's awesome. So I'm hoping that that same drive and enthusiasm and passion is there when I take the position July 1st, and then start to kind of first get acclimated to the new system, new setup, new what their processes on things, get acclimated to that, and then look into reaching out saying, hey, I am now officially in this seat. This is who I am. This is where I am. This is my contact information. This is the things I'd like to do going into 26, 27, and even 27, 28. If you are interested in being a part of that, or have any input or help that you can give in making these things happen, please reach out. And that's where July 1st is going to be a cluster of things. So hopefully, as we get into by December, I'll be a little more established in and more settled into the working ways, and hopefully, start of 27, I can go full steam ahead into some of these crazy ideas and start reaching out and talking to people. I do know that usually after the first of the year is when companies tend to be starting over with their fiscal year, so they tend to be a little more giving in the beginning of the year. And then sometimes near the end of the year, if they still see they got a little bit of money in a budget, they can be a little giving there too. So we'll see how December into January plays out going into this coming year. But yes, Kit, I agree. Building additional Vorons would be a good thing. Not just for me, but for kids as well. So, but gang, I do thank you guys for coming and hanging out for an hour to listen to me talk about what's been going on, what's important to me, and hopefully, even if you guys yourselves financially are not in a position where you can help, I understand that 110%. I don't have a lot of money, but I am committing 200 of my own dollars in this 260 that you see there. Thanks to Sergio. Speaking of, let me go in and see if I can get that added in. The way GoFundMe changed some stuff, it makes it hard to add funds. Your fundraisers, manage the fundraiser, and then click on here, and let's go to not edit goal. Where is it? Bear with me, gang, while I try to figure this out. Donors. There we go. And see, auto think donors, opportunities, donates, shared. Where is the stupid thing where I can just add in a donation? There used to be where like you could add offline. Oh, there we go. Add offline donation. Duh. Donor's name. HVAC A2. I'll just do HVA. I'll just do Sergio. Sergio. Amount 100. And add. Oh, okay. Because he's not going by HVAC anymore, or at least YouTube kind of broke that part up. So, let me look at the PayPal donation real quick here. Because he sent it to PayPal, which again, you guys can do that if you want, and I'll add in the offline donations. I'll get faster at it here in the future. That's what it is. All right. There we go. There we go. It is now added in. Reload, and then there you go. See it updated already right there, guys. Look, see it updated. 360. So I put 200 in. Sergio put in 100. And then, of course, there were two others. I don't want to outright dox them, but if you go click on it, you can see their names to see who they were. But there was a $50 donation, a $10 donation, my 200, and then Sergio's 100. So we have at least enough money now in donations to get at least one Elegoo Centauri carbon if it comes down to it, and then take the remaining and use that to buy some material to go along with it. Because currently, like I said, they currently only have a Prusa Mini, and that's their only active working printer. There was two other printers there, one that is definitely not working at the moment. Maybe I can get it working. And then there's an old Fusion 3, an older Fusion 3 that was donated by Caterpillar to the school that is also been used and abused. So I'm trying to get them something new, faster, some newer, faster machines that will work better. But if we can get the Fusion 3 running, that'd be sweet. But that's kind of let's get them working machines and get them up and running out the box. Whatever you make, sir, whatever you make for the eggs. I am not a picky man. I eat food. It's pretty nice when your neighbor comes into your stream, into your chat, and says he's going to make you dinner. I can't complain. Definitely not one to complain, especially if what he says is going to be on that plate. I'm pretty sure my wife will eat the bacon, whether I want it or not. She'll probably take the bacon from me. But yes. So, but gang, I think I'm about to kind of wrap the stream up. I'm going to be out here in the garage for a little while, still just kind of messing around with stuff. And I want to see if there is anybody else streaming real quick. So bear with me a moment while I go to the old YouTubes and see if anyone is currently streaming. Because I think that if there is, it'd be nice for us to go over and say hi to them. Oh, it's always Ashley. Thank you, dear. Thank you, thank you. It's nice to know that Mitchell doesn't care about me. Jerk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, but yes, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, there's really nobody streaming tonight, at least not on YouTube. It's not to say that there isn't somebody over on the Twitches, but at least over here there's not. Let me load up Twitch and see if there's anybody going over there. Twitch.tv. Shenanigans. Wexter streaming. Nice. Wexter streaming. He's currently live with Layer by Layer. Let's see. Oh, Digital Dragon is streaming. What's Digital Dragon working on? Oh, he's building a... Oh, he is building out the kit for the AMS, right? The EBOS series, yeah, for the AMS. There you go. So he's doing the EBOS or EBOS Series X, the Tetras for the for that. Yeah, let me grab his link here real quick. Since you can't raid from one platform to the other, there's Digital Dragon's Twitch. If you guys want to go over there and say hi to him, let him know that we're raiding in from YouTube. And I'm going to let you guys kind of get back to your day now. I'm probably going to have Digital Dragon up in the background listening to him while I'm playing around out here. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm probably going to be looking for some stuff, printing a few things, and just kind of hiding out in the garage for a little while. And then if the neighbor comes over with food, I'll probably be out here eating, not on camera. So, but you guys have a good night. Stay out of trouble, stay out of jail, happy 3D printing and all those things. And don't forget, I make mistakes so you don't have to. But yeah, have a great evening, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out. See you.